But we will start in England. There was a massive game, of course, on Saturday, late afternoon between Manchester City and Chelsea at the Etihad.
Yeah.
They finished 1-1 done.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us expected City to kind of cruise through victory, considering
100%.
their form, 10 wins in a row, and
Yeah.
Chelsea kind of patchy season, let's call it that way. What happened?
Well, my prediction was horrendous. That's what happened. I predicted City to win by more than 3.
Oh, wow.
I honestly thought, after seeing Chelsea quite a few times this season, they were horrendous against Liverpool. They picked up in the cup. But I didn't see that performance from Chelsea. I thought the tactics from Pochettino, to be fair, was quite good. Palmer high on the right, Sterling high on the left, trying to push their fullbacks deep. But City didn't play. Chelsea, I thought, were great in terms of their tactics, how they approached the game, loads of energy. And I think after the game, Pep was furious. I don't think it the pens and the shout. I think it was more how his team played. And give Chelsea a little bit of credit, even though I thought City was so much better second half. They could have won 5 or 6 second half.
Yeah, and we will talk about Haaland missing some chances, which is very unlike him, but there's 2 big headers that he missed. I agree with you on the Chelsea. For me, it was maybe their best performance because it kind of lasted longer than usual. Usually they have 10 good minutes or 20 or maybe 30, maybe just one half. This time it felt like the first half was really good. The second half, they kind of...
defensive.
Yeah, they protected their lead, which you have to do that, I guess, at the Etihad. But I thought City moved the ball quite slowly, not so much vertically. And I thought it was interesting to hear Rodri after the game saying we were scared to play through the middle and expose ourselves to their counter-attack. So we kind of played wide because, Doku was pretty ineffective on one side against Malo Gusto.
Yeah. Sometimes, Jules, when you're playing those sort of games, sometimes when you see Pochettino and you see the opposition, you see the lineups come in and you flip chart and you see the individuals, you've got a fair idea where they're going to play. But sometimes, not second guessing, because Pep knows everything about any individual and any team and formations, but it does take you as a player sometimes 5, 10, 15 minutes to try and problem solve.
Yeah.
So you might see the opposition come in, you might think they're playing a certain system, and all of a sudden you're quite surprised how high Palmer and Sterling were and the energy of Conor Gallagher. So that's something you figure out on the pitch. It can take you a little bit of time to get into your stride and then to get flowing and play again. And like I said, problem solve. But it took them longer than normal. Normally a Pep team, they'll see something different and they'll adjust and they'll find a way early on. The players on the pitch are intelligent. Rodri's super intelligent, isn't he, the way he problem solves, and he can find gaps and plug holes himself. So maybe they just completely got took by surprise and it took them longer. And it took them for 45 to actually adjust. So half time you felt as though Man City, you don't say it often, actually needed a team talk.
Yeah.
They needed instructions from the manager.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it seems like defensively, the defensive record is not too bad compared to where Liverpool and Arsenal are, for example, if you compare, or even I think where they were last season. It still seems to me that it's actually quite easy to create chances, and they don't.
Against them.
I think Ederson has the worst saving ratio in the whole of the Big Five
leagues.
leagues.
It's never been a secret, though, is it?
55% or something like that.
It's never been a secret how to play against Man City.
No, true.
It's just how you do it.
Yeah,
and
but usually they control spaces really well when they don't have the ball. So whether it's a high line or not so much high line, they can control where the ball goes or before the pass is made. But I thought on Saturday they didn't control spaces at all. It was easy for Gusto on the right hand side and Palmer.
Yeah.
Like Jackson had space.
If you're brave enough when you play against Man City, it's a little bit like Liverpool when you play against Liverpool, more so last year Liverpool, where if you're brave enough to try and set traps for Man City, it's easy sitting here, but when you're on the pitch and you're ground level to try and do it's really hard. But you've got to have really energetic players.
Yeah.
And then as soon as either Man City give the ball away or you win the ball back, the ball is then over the top. It's down the sides because the fullbacks play high up the pitch. So you can try and expose. You've seen that in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You can try and expose them if you're brave enough and if you're good enough. Not many teams can do it. But when you get it right, you can try and get some chances. As I said, it's not easy to try and implement that idea. It's easy to have it because City dominate the ball. And as you said, they create overloads left, through the middle, either on the right side as well. So I think from a Chelsea point of view, it gives the fans a little bit of hope. If they can keep playing like that,
Definitely.
they've got a chance in future games, because there's been some games this season where they've looked a shambles.
Yeah,
the cup games, the Villa game especially, I thought looked great in the FA Cup.
But then the first half against Palace,
Liverpool,
but at least Villa was after that.
Yeah,
but after Villa to go to Crystal Palace and have the first half that they had, which was shambolic, was
awful.
Weird. What about Erling Haaland then? Because he should have scored at least two. There's two headers. There may be a third one that Petrovic saved, that is slightly deflected. There's one where he's not on his toes, not aware.
The easiest chance was the one, do you remember? I think it was late on in the game when the ball got whipped in and he went for a power header. Yeah. It should have been a glancing header.
The De Bruyne cross.
Yeah, what I would say is never write him off. what he is a player at the minute, he's a player that's just a bit rusty. I think you see that when the camera panned on him towards the end of the game and he was just sort of staring into thin air. And he's staring into thin air thinking, how have I missed those chances today? I'm better than that. It's a man that's come back from injury. He's a little bit rusty. He's a little bit snatchy. You can tell he's snatchy in his finishes because he's adding power.
Yeah.
Because normally when you're confident, you might flick a little header into the corner or take an extra touch and make sure you're accurate. When you're not super confident, he is in his own mentality in the way he approaches the games. When you miss chances, it does hurt you a little bit. You start to add more power. So you can never criticise him because next game against Brentford, he'll probably wrap in 3 or 4. Yeah. But you saw the player of the weekend that was just a little bit snatchy. He's desperate.
Right, let's continue on Haaland a little bit, Don, because I do think that in his whole game, and as amazing as he is, maybe in the air, that's where he can improve. I think he only scored 3 goals this season in the air. And he had 14, I looked it up last night, 14 attempts, so 14 headers, let's call it that. And only three have gone in. Maybe they were not all as easy as the one against Chelsea. And when we say easy, it looks easy. Yeah. You've been in that position. It's not that easy. But at that level and that amount of talent, you expect him still to score. Yeah. The first one is quite high, but still he's in a really good position to put it back down. And the second one, as you said, it seemed that he tried to hit it up when he should have hit it down. It's just, you talked about rustiness, which is fair. Maybe he's not even fully match fit. Maybe he's not even fully fit, to be honest. But that rustiness could go very quickly, right?
Oh, 1 goal. Strikers and footballers in general, we thrive on being confident. Something you can't measure. We've got all the data these days, the analysis of distance covered and forward passes and unbelievable amount of data. What you can never, ever try and get hold of from a footballer's point of view is a player's confidence. Yeah. You can't measure it. When you're confident, you do things instinctively.
Even the best in the world, because that's what he is.
Absolutely, yeah, because he is the best in the world. But you can see that he's snatching because he's either half a yard short on his fitness, which then you just need minutes to get through, or he just needs to hit the back of the net. Then all of a sudden, that muscle memory of coming back and confidence, you start to score more. The interesting one was when the ball got whipped in from the right-hand side. I think it was Phil Foden who chopped back and crossed one to him. I actually thought then that was a diving header. Do you remember come across his body and he tried to go on his stronger left foot? Yeah. A confident player either takes it on his right foot, takes a chest, scores. He wanted it so desperately on his left foot because he knows that's his strongest foot. But what you got to try and remember is when you're out on the pitch at ground level, you've probably got half a second to make your mind up. When you sit at home and watch football, you go, you should have done this and you should have done that.
Of course.
You've got to go into like the Rolodexes of your finishes and go, which one am I going to choose? That one in half a second. And that's like, to a footballer, that's like a lifetime.
Yeah, but look against Everton. He scored 2 goals. The first one, that reaction on the corner, and the ball comes out with his right foot scores. And then the second one, the KDB ball, and then he goes barge into Brantwaite and then 1-on-1. Yeah. So I thought, okay, the rustiness. And by the way, I think that's the only game he scored in the last 4 since coming back from injury. Yeah. So I thought, okay, maybe this is it now. Those 2 goals, the switch is back on, and then anyway, but yeah.
Do you know if you try and simplify it, Jules, and you've got like a battery pack on your arm, right? Low confidence, high confidence, right? When you score 2 goals against Everton, his battery level up there would have been super confident. But when you go into a game and you miss a chance, you'd be surprised how literally you could drop down a bar.
That early chance after 12 minutes against Chelsea.
You could drop down a bar. You go, still confident, I'll get another chance. Then you miss another one. And all of a sudden, for a footballer in a 90-minute game, your confidence can just erode very quickly. It's like when I used to play centre midfield, managers and players used to call it the Hollywood pass. So if you've given about 5-6 passes away, what you should do is make sure I pass from A to B. And I go like that, and I keep passing short and get the confidence levels up. Not bad players, but players that make bad decisions go for the Hollywood pass. Yeah. Because they want to get their battery from low all the way to the top. Yeah. A 60-yard ball. Let's go. It ain't going to come off. Just keep going simple. Yeah. So once he gets one, that's the life and times of a foot, especially for a striker. That's what they thrive on. He'll be back. We'll sit here today and we'll criticise him because we're having a chat about him. It's a debate. He'll score 4 against Brentford. Yeah. Or he'll score 3, or he'll score 2, and he'll be back to his best. That's how he works. That's how strikers work.
You said we need to give credit to Chelsea, of course, and the way they defended, especially in that second half. Malo Gusto, who I've seen since he was 15, not the best, usually defending 1v1 against a really good, skillful winger like Jeremy Doku, but he did. Outstanding one-on-one performance, right?
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I think him and Disasi. I thought done really well. I think Disassi's got quite a few flaws in his game.
Yeah, for
he
sure.
Had a great game
more
at
than
the weekend.
Colwill. I think Colwill has a higher ceiling. Than
I think he makes better decisions. But when you have a game like Disassi had, where everything's hitting him, body on the line, it can look great. But the bigger picture is he needs a lot of work on his game in terms of where he is on the pitch, his decision making, not diving in, not getting caught, not ball watching. But you're right. I thought Gusto had a really good game. He's a good player when he goes forward. Reece James when he gets forward, gets in area, he's got good delivery. But that will give him a lot of confidence when you play up against Doku, because normally when you play against someone like that, it's very, very tricky. What you're taught to do is show him inside into traffic. But he actually quite fancied himself in a 1v1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cool. Very interesting. I really hope for Malo that, especially before facing Liverpool in the League Cup final on Sunday, probably against Luis Diaz, you would think that this would be very good as well for his confidence, and that his batteries are really really high. That a word on the Sterling goal. Far too easy, we said, on the right-hand side. Palmer, Nico Jackson, the cross. I mean, I know you want to play a high line if you're City.
Yeah.
But if you don't, as we always say, if you don't put pressure on where the ball is on the pitch, then they're going to play through you like that.
Did you see the reaction of Kyle Walker when Raheem Sterling scored? So Kyle Walker got done for the Raheem Sterling bit of skill.
Well, he was going to buy a hot dog.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, but he knows the player inside out. And
so why did he dive in like that?
This is what I'm saying. So Kyle Walker, as soon as Raheem Sterling chopped inside and scored, Kyle Walker put his arms on the floor and he sort of laid back and he knew exactly what he'd done. The mistake he made was running too fast.
Yeah.
So when you sprint at Raheem Sterling, the only way Raheem Sterling scores, he's got no left foot.
Yeah.
He can't score past Edison on an angle. Hasn't got the power. Hasn't got the technique. So you
100%.
take your chances. You slow down with Kyle Walker. You make him shoot. He was either so desperate, caught up in the moment, thinking it's my ex-teammate, I've got to make sure I get across there, instead of slowing down and overcompensating, show him on his left, he doesn't score. The fact that he ran so quick, Sterling must have thought, what's he doing here? He's running so fast. If I chop inside, he can't sort his feet out.
Completely.
And then, so it's bad defending. But I looked at the player's reaction, and the good thing from Pep's point of view, or Kyle Walker, he knew the second he made the mistake where his mistake was.
Yeah.
It's not like you got to teach him.
That's where but I know, but you expect that. But you saw Pep's reaction as well. He went mad.
It was a bad mistake, don't get me wrong.
Everything from start to finish on that goal is bad.
It was terrible for Kyle Walker, because he's better than that, and he knows.
Yeah, definitely.
You just, 10 times out of 10, you shove Sterling on his left foot.
Yeah, 100%. I think the former Walker is a worry. I think the former Ruben Diaz is a worry. I think Ederson in goal. I said it to you when we were preparing for the show. I think he's got the worst save ratio in all the Big Five leagues. This is 55%.
Yeah.
So 1 every 2 shot goes in. And I know he doesn't face many, so it's harsh because but still, you face 2 shots or 4, 2 go in or 1 go in.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It's not quite.
There's something clearly not.
Again, it might be confidence, but it's not quite Claudio Bravo, is it? Where every time City give up a chance, that just
but you're not
chance.
far.
Exactly. I don't know. I see a really good goalkeeper there. In the way Pep sees it, and the way Pep sees it, he's more of a footballer than he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But still, it is a worry.
Yeah, it is a worry. And maybe
Lack
John
of clean
Stones.
sheets.
Yeah.
That's a worry.
2 in the last 14 games in the
that's
league.
a worry.
2 in 14.
Yeah.
And I know the others are not keeping many more. So it's not, I think Arsenal are on 10, Liverpool on 8, and they must be on 7 City. So it's not that bad compared to the others. But 2 in 14.
When you start getting to the business end of the Premier League, and when you start getting to the business end of the Champions League, you don't want to have a record of lack of clean sheets.
Yeah.
Because you get against the big sides in the important games, they know how to manage games. So that's a worry.
Sure. Yeah. So at least in the good news for City, Rodri to the rescue again. I mean, what an incredible player.
What a go-to man.
I know he was overlooked for the Ballon d'Or, for all those individual trophies, probably because he's a 6 and not a 10 or a 9. But one of the top 5 best players in the world, all positions together.
I love him. Do you know, over the years, and it was Pep's first signing, I thought, in terms of football IQ, Ilkay Gundogan was the most intelligent footballer I think City have had for a long time. Might be other brilliant footballers, but someone that can play nearly any position, Gundogan, amazing. Rodri's starting to be a player now where if you want him as a 6, he can control the game. Now he's starting to score goals, which is amazing, and big goals, important games, like the go-to man.
Yeah.
He is some player.
Incredible.
I mean, incredible footballer.
Really. Let's finish on something that maybe is not relevant, and you will tell me, because you can still win the title or win the Champions League or win the title in this case, even if you don't do well against the top 5 in the table in your league, right?
Yeah.
But City this season, against the other team of the top 5, they lost at Arsenal.
Yeah.
They drew at home to Liverpool. They lose away at Villa. They drew at home against Spurs 3-3.
Yeah.
So I'm not even talking the 2 Chelsea games where they drew both home and away.
Yeah.
Is this relevant? Isn't it when you
it's
were
relevant.
playing? Is there if you don't do well against the team around you in the table, is that bad? Is it?
It is bad. I think it is relevant. I think it's a good point because when you play down at the bottom, teams down at the bottom, and you have all the possession, they can try and stifle you in a certain way where they can be defensive in their shape. When you come up against the best teams, they can do both.
Yeah.
So they can hit you on the counter, they can try and play. It'll be a worry for Pep, knowing, because you know how much of a perfectionist he is.
Yeah.
If your record against the top 5 or 6 clubs isn't great, that can be the difference from winning the league or losing the league.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how small the margins are.
And when you think as well that Arsenal and Liverpool have played each other twice already, so this is done.
And then they've got to go to Anfield, haven't they, City?
Yeah, exactly. Which means that Arsenal are seeing that game and say, okay, if they cancel each other out, we can take advantage and get points over one of them.
Well, this weekend just goes to show City are fallible. They can make mistakes.
Clearly. Finally, the goal difference, because Arsenal have been scoring for fun, and we will talk about that in the quick hits, but Arsenal and Liverpool now are 36, plus 36.
Yeah.
City are plus 31. So right now there's a 5-goal swing.
I mean, Arsenal have come from nowhere.
Yeah.
21 in 5 games.
It's incredible. More than ever in there. But we'll talk about them a little bit in a little bit. But there's still plenty of games to go, and you can score, and City can still outscore Liverpool and Arsenal in goal difference and stuff. But when you know how important goal difference is, and City know it because they won the league in 2012 on goal difference.
Yeah.
The fact that now it swung back into Liverpool and Arsenal favour compared to City is also quite significant.
It is significant. I don't think, as we sit here now, I don't think Pep would be too worried.
No.
I think when he looks at the league table,
there's too many games left
with a game in hand, I don't think he'll be too worried.
Yeah, because if they beat Brentford on Wednesday 4-0, they all go on the same level of goal
difference. But at the same time, he'll have an eye on it.
Yeah.
Because of course he will, because he'll have an eye on how many Arsenal have scored, how many Liverpool have scored. And he'll be thinking, if it does go down to the wire, that's an extra point somewhere.
Yeah.
So, of course it's important, but I think it probably only matters, and it's not like it only matters with 5 games to go, or 4 or 6. There's no real time frame on it.
Yeah, true.
But the closer it gets towards the end of the season, that's when you'll pay attention to it more.